Our first news, actually, that something was happening was on the 2nd when we started to see the ground troops being gathered up and taken off in trucks. We knew obviously something was at hand. At the time I was aware that the invasion was about to take place. In order to cover myself from my parents and my girlfriend, I remember writing about 4 different letters, predating them, and giving them to someone to mail for me so that the family would not know that I had landed in France.
Et le 5 juin 1944, quand on a commencé à nous dire qu'il était interdit à partir de maintenant d'écrire des lettres et que nous n'allions plus en recevoir, ah, là, on s'est dit, il y a quelque chose qui va arriver. La nourriture est devenue meilleure. Là aussi, c'était un bon signe que quelque chose allait arriver.
Nous savions que vous allez débarquer un jour, 8 jours avant, déjà on rendait les armes pour les garder propres, dans un camp de Sheffield, dans le sud de l'Angleterre, près de Southampton, et là, nous avons appris que nous allions débarquer. On a eu les plans de débarquement. Oui, qui ont été gardés par des soldats américains avec des vigiles qui avaient ordre de tirer sur le premier qui sortait de ce camp. Interdiction de donner le nom de code à nos camarades, parce que nous on avait reconnu la France, pas moi, les Havrais qui étaient parmi nous, avaient reconnu les berges de l'Orne, on pensait bien à la baie de Seine, et on dit voilà, on débarque à Ouistreham.
I was a paratrooper, but we were asked to volunteer for a very dangerous mission. To get into that very dangerous mission, we had to be unmarried. My commanding officer, some 10 years ago, admitted to me that it was a suicide operation and they didn't expect to see us again. And we had to go by glider, by horse or glider, which was made of wood and canvas. When we got to the Merville Battery, there was no one there. The 9th Battalion had not reached the Merville Battery, and only 150 men out of 650 finally got to the battery. There were no flares or any radio links with us, and we were flying round the battery completely lost, but under extremely heavy anti-aircraft fire. So firing shells that large to us, about an inch in diameter. And the pilot of the powered aircraft who was pulling us said, "Please cast off because I am being very badly hit by anti-aircraft fire." And we landed in 2 meters of water over the heads. We managed to get out of there just as the battle for the battery took place. As we came out of the water, the battalion had reached the battery and had started the fire. So we never did get to the battery. That is the way I went to Normandy. And by the time I got there, I had enough. No, I was waiting to go home. We were not frightened. None of us were frightened because we were immortal. We were young, immortal men. The way we chose was our choice. We wanted to be extra special. We wanted to go by air. The air attack was disastrous, but I think we preferred it to going ashore at places like Omaha, or, you know, what I'm talking about. People who went off to the beaches were terribly unlucky.
On D-Day, here I was, along with other officers in my unit, sitting comfortably at breakfast, safe, warm, and all around the room were loudspeakers. And it was almost like a football game as the British broadcasting system and the United States Army radio service were broadcasting all this hell that was taking place at only about 100-mile straight line distance from where we were was weird and strange.
Bien, vous savez, on était tellement entraînés que pour nous c'était un jour d'entraînement, excepté bien sûr les résultats sur la plage et les différents, parce qu'on faisait comme entraînement, mais enfin nous étions très motivés, hein, on rentrait chez nous. Hein. Les Anglais, on avait assez de la guerre avec la même motivation, tout le monde est parti avec des sourires. Ouais. Et on n'aurait pas voulu laisser notre place à personne d'autre.
J'ai connu l'endroit où j'allais débarquer sur le bateau de transport qui nous amenait sur la côte, et j'ai débarqué à Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer, Omaha Beach, le 8 juin 1944, et j'étais sûr que la plupart d'entre nous ne verraient pas le point de chute, mais je le dis toujours, l'angoisse, la peur, elle se maîtrise quand elle est continue. À force d'avoir peur, on n'a plus peur, on a moins peur.
But not until early on the morning of the 6th of June did loudspeakers come on and tell us that we had landed, and that as far as we were concerned, from here on it was a real show. I do remember on that day we were issued special clothing. It was a regular uniforms, but they were covered with some waxy material. There was a fear that the Germans were possibly going to use gas, and these were anti-gas uniforms. I can only remember that they were so waxy and so stiff that if you took them off, the pants would stand up by themselves with nobody in them. They didn't last very long. We very quickly got rid of them. Actually, we got on board an LCI on the 8th of June. The LCI was a large landing craft with two gangplanks in the front, which were forced out onto the beach as the ship rode up on the beach, and infantry could go down the gangplanks onto the beach. However, after a one-night trip over to France, and so having arrived there, it wasn't until the D+4 that I actually put a foot on the beach. We were off the beach one day with the shelling and everything going on. We weren't hit, but we did see ships being sunk, some on purpose. I'm sure some of the infantrymen have talked about the ships that were brought in as artificial, to make an artificial harbor. It was quite a sight to see. I know that we landed at exit 2 from Utah Beach. Our orders were to head to the high land and above it to an emergency landing strip that was supposed to be scraped out at the beach by the 834th Engineer Aviation Battalion. And at that time, our duty was supposedly to camouflage that installation to keep it out of view of the Luftwaffe. As replacements, of course, we were nothing to anybody. And on our way, suddenly, I think there were about 8 of us, were taken by a graves registration unit. And our first duty there was to help not gather bodies up so much as preparing them for burial. It wasn't a very pleasant job. I can tell you that I probably vomited straight for 2 days. Also learned how to drink Calvados so I could go to sleep at night.
Et alors la plage est jonchée de soldats américains, de soldats allemands. Il y a des poutres qui ressortent tous les quelques mètres de la terre pour pouvoir empêcher les jeeps ou les camions de passer. Mais avec une jeep, on arrive à passer. Et le corps médical a fait un boulot terrible pour ramasser les morts et les blessés et immédiatement les réembarquer pour l'Angleterre par bateau. 3-4 jours après, au-dessus de Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer, il y avait un grand terrain qui a été transformé en terrain d'aviation. Et là, les soldats blessés ou morts étaient transférés par avion, du coup, jusqu'en Angleterre.
Finally, the outfit that I was assigned to, 2 weeks later, we found them. They had just arrived from England. And we never were able to find out how come we, replacements, were out there weeks before the actual unit landed, but nobody was prepared to tell us.
We boarded ships on the 4th of July and landed at Omaha Beach on the 6th. Well, our own landing was safe, although long-range German artillery, I think, could still reach, and we still had to wade in from about 100 yards offshore with all of our heavy gear, climbing down the rope ladders into the landing craft, but still getting off in fairly deep water, and still climbing that blasted hill after getting off, but far different from what it was 30 days before that. I often thought, my God, this is terrible being frightened all the time, but this is living. Nothing is like this in the experience of a man fighting. It's exciting and intriguing despite the fear. Strange, perhaps, but I think other people doubtless felt the same way.